let's talk about mankind. So the word seems to be usual, but in fact, any person has his proper definition. So I just want to explain that it's not an abstract definition. In fact, for me, at least, is foundation. So, for example, when you try to speak about mankind, you said this is the set of human beings. We can also say the dead people, live people, unborn people, okay, together. But with this approach, in fact, the definition seems to depend of the definition of man. For me, in fact, we waste a lot of time because the correct way to do this is to say that a man is a man if he belongs to mankind. So the foundation is mankind and not the man. So, you know, in philosophy, we are talking about the definition of man many centuries ago, but now I think it's the time to correct this and use the word mankind, for example, for genocide, because for genocide or for a crime against humanity, you cannot use the word man. So if we decide right now with both of you to say that, imagine, as in physics, the speed of light is the foundation. Now imagine that mankind is the foundation. How can we define the other objects, the other words? For example, we have a set, in fact, is a group, maybe in a hyperstructure, and we can say that a man with its work belongs to humanity if there is a trace in its memory, its history, and this trace can be useful for the future. It's okay like this? So do you have some comments, questions?
Okay, so from what you're saying, a human being, for example, any human being is not necessarily a part of that definition of mankind. For example, if they have an action that detracts from the I guess common knowledge, you'll call it, of humanity, then that would be a negative and not part of that kind of definition of mankind. Would that be correct?
Yes, because in fact, for me, if you made an act of barbarity against humanity, how can you be against if you belong to it? For me, is the birth is in society. The existence is in society. Many societies, not only one. In fact, for me, only mankind is unique. Society is not unique. We have many societies at the same time, and we have many societies at different times, okay? So if you consider that humanity is a unique hyperstructure, which is in fact an object in time, it's rather difficult to say that we have the same thing for the human being, because for many of us, the foundation, it's only the present, not the time, present, okay? So the day, we think a lot about the day. When you start to think about the time, which can be your life, your entire life, things are quite different. For example, for pose, for Kung Fu, it's rather artificial to say that you can talk about that just for one day. For me, it's a tradition for many centuries. So even when you choose to make a move, it's not a move of this day, it's the trace of a tradition who belongs to time. So with this aspect, in fact, you can say what? You can belong to the day, but if you don't see the time, you don't see mankind. You see only society. So you make a mistake and you consider that society is in fact the same with mankind. But for us, mankind, it's also dead people, live people, unborn people. So it's not only the population. By the way, your body can be in this set, but not your mind. So for me, when we are talking about humanity, I mean also the maintention of humanity, not just the bodies. So when we are speaking together about Einstein, Da Vinci, Socrates, okay, these guys are with us even now. I mean, their mind. So if you just say, okay, we are talking about bodies right now, and which of them belongs to mankind is just the element of a set. For me, mankind is not just a set, which is the population. It's something more. So what more? A group, a structure, a hyperstructure, something which is living in the time? Yes. So I need mankind and time to define new objects. So for me, for example, society is just the present of the time. Okay, you see, just a picture. It's not the movie. So we have many societies in time. We have many societies in the same time, okay? But we have one mankind. So it's a very special case because, in fact, it's a manifold, but unique. So we are talking about many persons together as it is one. So that's why it's very difficult, in fact, to define the rights of humanity. Because you can say, it's a person? No. It's a set? No. It's a group? No. It's what? A nation? No. You see already the organization of United Nations is not exactly mankind, is in fact a subset of the trace as a set of the hyperstructure. Because in United Nations, dead people do not vote. But we are talking about mankind even with our acts now. So we have memory. Who needs memory in one day? Who cares? So you need memory to get the maintention in time. So you need time, you need mankind, you need memory, and of course, intelligence, okay? So both of them, because for me, intelligence is more related, in fact, to time, and memory is related to mankind. You see the difference for both of you? Okay, because, you know, if you have a memory of, for example, imagine a book. It belongs to the memory of mankind. If you study this book, it can belong to the intelligence because you are studying it right now and you are going to think about new things which are not written in the book. So it can be a platform to think more and beyond. So for me, you have memory, which is related to mankind, and intelligence related to time. For example, because it seems to be not so clear. When you take an IQ test, you know, George, you have some of them which are cultural free, no? Okay, culture free, we said. So it means what? You don't know many things, but if you see some relation, you can answer in a correct way. Okay, this is only with time. You don't have in your mind the memory of humanity. Now, I see you with the Zoom in Australia, and I see the drawing behind you. For example, I can say that it's only a woman, but it's not sufficient. So we can define her, the place, the time, the artist, the subject, the object, and why you choose this drawing to be with you at that moment. So you see, with the second part, you have a very, mankind load. You can just watch, you see, because you remember. So you have a memory, okay? Imagine for your children, you see the same thing. You think you see the same thing, but in fact, you watch the same thing, but you don't see the same thing because you see what you get. So if you have memory, if you have reference, you see more. Imagine, for example, on a chessboard, on a shogi ban, on a go ban, you see the picture, Yes? No. You watch the chessboard. But a master will see something else.